So what kind of arrowhead can I make from this? It looks about the same size as my other ones. It's funny how that works, huh? Let's see. Should have chosen a bigger one. Where's my other one? I got some options here. I napped this one from a heat treat, I think, but I don't know. I don't know what this is. I think I want to nap this. But see, it's about the same. They're all about the same length. Now you're just showing the ones that match the length. I mean, I got a bunch. They all seem to be kind of around the same size. It's funny how that works, huh? There's no real big long blades in here. Except for this one, but it's not that big and it's not that long. This is a silicified sandstone or something. I was napping on it and I said, you know what, I'm going to snap this at any moment, so I'm going to stop napping on it. But yeah, it's a sandstone of some sort. It can be used as a knife. As is, I suppose. I might do this on video if I feel like I'm adventurous, but not right now. Where's my other ones? Oh yeah. Excuse me while I look through some of the potentials. I found this in my rejects from the nap-in. Someone just threw this in there. Just sharpen it up, it would work. Doesn't look that pretty, but it would work. Anyway, we must have had a lot of artsy-fartsy people back in the day making those pretty arrowheads instead of just the clunky, workable ones. They work, but they're clunky. All right. I got a flake, excuse me, in my shoe. Not to be confused with a YouTuber of the same name. I think there's one. Okay. So the simplest thing to do is just make a knife blade out of this and just haft it with a bunch of glue. No sinew, just a stick with a bunch of glue. Split stick. Put back together with glue. With a little bit of wrapping, maybe, of plant fiber cordage. You know, you split the stick all the way, the handle. You carve out the area where this is going to be stuck into the stick. Then you glue everything back together. You know, all the joints have the pitch glue or whatever, and then you wrap it with plant fiber cordage. And that's what I need to do. I need to illustrate some of these things. Just explain it with words and pictures. Because I don't have time to be hafting all these. I wish I did. I don't know where the time goes. I start trying to haft these things and I don't have time for anything else. Okay. Mr. Nicely says this snaps pretty nicely. Yeah. It's not bad actually on this side, but this side I'm gonna regret choosing this piece of stone. Why am I skinning this off a lot? Well, it just so happens I have to in order to create symmetry. Now back in the day they kind of went with the flow and it was all wonky. These blades were wonky, except for the projectile points can't be too wonky, but the blades for knives can be. Oh yes. And that's what they did. They kind of went with the flow and they tried to eliminate the bad areas, I think. And to keep the good areas, it was kind of wavy. So they said, well, it doesn't matter. As long as we got good area, on the knife. That way it's easy to resharpen. Don't have to break out this jackhammer. I was about to say sledgehammer. I think they had sledge or mauls back in the day. They did not have jackhammer, so it's funny to say the jackhammer. All right. But yeah, break out the jackhammer for the resharpening. If you don't remove a lot of this concrete-y type stuff. And I said last night that I'm going to just knap the way I normally knap. I'm not worrying about preserving it for the video anymore. If it breaks, it breaks. If I skin off the good stuff by coincidence, oh well. I don't try to preserve colors or nice areas too much anymore because it's a high anxiety task. It leads to more trouble than it's worth, in my view. Now, I know some of you, and you've made the comments that some of you love this process of reduction and shaping and experimenting with new rocks and going out looking for the rocks and all that stuff. It's fine, it's fine. I'm not going to mock you, not in a malicious way. I might just say that you guys are gluttons for punishment. Because I like seeing the end result. That's what I like. This part's okay, but it's one of those things like working out. You know, you go and lift a bunch of weight. It's very stressful. Yeah, a lot of times you gotta put the headphones on with the music to get through it. You come home the next day, you're all toned. Yeah, there you go. That's what I like. I like to see the end result. The journey, it's not fun. For me. Although I'm addicted to it. It's funny how that works. Yeah, I do like it. I do like Flintknapping, but my favorite part is looking at the finished piece. Yeah, I kind of kid around. Yeah, the journey is not for me. I do like Flintknapping, but it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. Yeah, I like Flintknapping, but I hate those step fractures. Well, you just don't do the things that make step fractures. Yeah, just don't do it. Don't do the things that make step fractures. Well, if I didn't do the things that make step fractures, then I can't do the things that correct the step fractures. Have you thought about that? Huh? See how I corrected the step fracture? Kind of, sort of. The step fractures are a teaching opportunity, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Yep. All you motivational gurus out there? All you motivational regular people out there? All these problems present opportunities for teaching. Teaching opportunities. And opportunities for me to blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. I don't really want to go any thinner because, you see what's happening when I try to go thinner. But that's where I need to notch and stuff. Put a stem on it. So I want to get it thin, but I try to get it thin and it doesn't behave. Yeah. I tried grinding the edge and abrading the edge. It doesn't do much. It doesn't do much at all. there's hardly any difference, and I'm really laying into it. Doesn't do much. That's how you know it's a tough piece of stone. But I need to thin down this top part a little bit. Yeah, get rid of some of this crud. So I gotta abrade it a lot so it can withstand the force of the blows that I need to thin that down. And hopefully not crack it. Ooh, I like when this happens so that I can show you. See how much steel gets deposited on there? Yeah. This is not wimpy stuff. Requires very hard hits. Very hard hits, you hear that? Very hard hits. I think I've made my point many times, hopefully. Hit harder. You gotta hit it harder. Take some risks. Yeah. I suppose there might be a way to do this without hitting really, really hard. I suppose. There's some guys out there that know. They know techniques. This is done on the good side, so this is cheating. But I'm going to go over this again. This is about the longest I can possibly get. If I want to get this island, it's almost out of reach. This is the longest I can possibly get on this stone, reasonably well. More like that. So if I want to flatten that island out, I look at the flake, put it on here. I'm only going to be able to get to the middle. Okay? I'm only going to be able to get to the middle. I'm not going to be able to go past halfway. So it's got to be narrower. And after a while, you get used to how narrow it needs to be according to how difficult it is to flake. The more difficult it is to flake, the more narrow it needs to be to get these flakes to go past halfway. It's just physics. And some guys don't tell you that, right? You do need to get it narrow, but not too narrow. And you got to make a decision. Yes, you need to make it more narrow to take that out. But if you don't take it out, you can leave it wider. So what is your goal? Do you have to have this thin or no? If no, then don't worry about it. If for some reason you need it thin, I can't imagine exactly why other than artsy-fartsy reasons, then just leave it. You can leave it thick. I should probably stop there because I don't need it to be thin in the middle for what I am thinking of making. It's just a simple stemmed point. Yeah. And not just because I'm saving it for the video, but because I know it's going to step fracture. I know it is. It's not going to be beneficial to go much further. Ooh, that tip is tough. It's good for knives. The raw stone, if you can get it to a biface shape, good for knives, the raw stone. If for no other reason that it just won't break as easily as some of the other material. Yeah, that's always a plus in my book. Because I've stepped on knives I've made. Oh yes. It's not pretty. Yeah, not only is the knife broken, but I get in a bad mood. Man, I spent all that time. I just hafted it. I just set it down to cool and I step on it accidentally. It's just brand new. The glue is barely cooled down. Yeah. Snapped it. Should have used that nasty stone for the knife blade. Yeah. Because the projectile points, they'll break. You can use the delicate stuff because they're going to break anyway. Even if you use a tough stone on a projectile point, it's going to break anyway. Except for you guys that never hit hard bone or the ground when you shoot. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about us guys that always end up hitting one of the big bones or a rock in the ground if it misses. Some might say, yeah, I've had an arrowhead that has survived hunting on more than one animal, and I missed more than one time. I hit the ground, and it's still an arrowhead. Nothing happened to it. And it was not tough stone. It was the good stuff. So I don't know what you're talking about. I know. I'm not going to deny it. I'm just saying. Just saying. Because this tough stuff is good for knife blades. Then I went off on a little tangent. All right. So this is concrete right there. That is concrete. What we call concrete in the business. In the flint knapping business, because it feels a lot like quickset concrete, right? That's what they call it. That's a brand name or something. It's like you mixed up a little batch of concrete and slapped it on there. It's hard to knap through, although it does flake in many cases. But in some cases, it's so hard to flake through that it messes up your whole day. Yeah, sometimes you go into the flint knapping thinking, okay, this is going to be a relatively step-free day. Step fractures, beware. I'll be looking for you, so you better not show up. Yeah. A lot of times you start every day like that. A lot of times you just go, yeah, it's going to be a step-free day. How's that? Positive attitude. Yeah, positive attitude is very important in flint knapping. Let me zoom out because I can't keep it in frame. I have to hit this way too hard, so I'm all over the place. So, yeah, see, there's a little step right there because of the island is building. I'm building an island. Yeah. I'm doing the blade first before the stem. I could have been doing the stem first. It's just a habit of doing the blade first. Let's see. I'm going to get rid of this lump. Try to. It's on the good side, so I shouldn't have too much trouble with the flake. Except, yeah, that sort of thing. That thing, it rears its ugly head, those bites taken out. But the lump is pretty much taken care of. Pretty much. Good enough. If I press the issue much more, I'm going to lose too much width off that tip. And I'm using the larger flaker. I'm going to switch over to the smaller one here so I can finish it off. And then I'll go back to the bigger one. I always get asked what's the difference between these smaller flakers and the bigger ones. It's just a matter of the size of the flake you want and the toughness of the material. I think there are two main requirements. Tough materials and large flakes require a large tipped flaker just because it imparts more energy. This is kind of slightly flexible. It kind of goes boing. I don't know. At least it feels that way. It may not. It might just be me. I have an overactive imagination. I should have been an archaeologist. Yeah, I said I was going to stop. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop talking that smack. Okay. So I'm just going to remove some short flakes from the edge to thin it down. It's like a final, kind of like a final thinning pass. Although I could probably shoot I could probably shoot a flake into there and see if I can get lucky. All right. Because I'm that way. I just take my chances. Couldn't hurt. Because it doesn't matter if I break them on video anymore. Nope. I'm not going to talk smack about the archaeologists, and I'm not going to worry about breaking these on video. Yep. Ouch, that's tough. That's not going to be fun to nap down here. Uh-oh. I'm thinking I'm going to put a nice pretty stem on here, and this is tougher than the sides here. Yeah. This bottom area. At least right there. Okay. I gotta really grind this. It's still kind of wonky at the tip, but at least it's a little bit thinner. That's all I'm gonna do. I tried to run a flake across, but it still didn't do what I wanted. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to work. I need to increase the size of that platform or that edge there. Bevel it down a little bit more. It's probably going to take more than one attempt. More than one flake, so I need more than one place. Plus, I need it to need to be lower, and ultimately need it to be as strong as possible, because this is going to require some heavy-duty force. And it's going to mess up with symmetry a little bit, but at least it'll be flatter. It's still a little bit thick right there. And if it step fractures, I'm just going to leave it in. And make a point with a step fracture in it. How's that? Yeah, no big deal. I could use metal on metal, but I didn't start with metal on metal, so I don't want to take the risk like I did last time, shooting a flake that's a little bit too powerful. Okay. All right, this is the test. Did it do it? Not bad, not too bad, not too shabby. I think I'm not going to push my luck. Yeah. And now, since I got to fix the symmetry, I got to take some off of this side. I can build an area there that I can take a flake in that direction. Get the lump a little bit further down, or a little bit lower. Lower that lump. Lower the lump. LTL. Lower the lump. Yeah. I'm not pressure flaking this side as much because I don't need to alter it too much. I already got the good area to flake through, hopefully. And if it's step fractures, I'll leave the step fracture in. Okay, hopefully. Well, it didn't go all the way, which means it's still the same thickness, but at least the edge is thinner. At least that's what you want. It's what you want. If you want to talk like an American, it's what you want. There. Now that was, I got to admit, that was rather satisfying. Where is the? Oh, the platform broke off. Okay, here we go. Yes. Where does it fit? I know you fit in there somewhere. Okay. So it fit in there somewhere. It took off the fronts of those step fractures. It lowered the lump a little bit. I like it. That was unexpectedly good. Nice. All right, so I'm gonna stem it. Put a stem on it. I don't know if I can do it within the amount of time I have on this segment. If I was smart, I would drive some thinning flakes for the stem. I'll show you one of the reasons why I don't do it, other than forgetting, but one of the reasons why I don't do it is because it requires a lot of removal of the edge there and there. So it looks like it's going to be pentagonal before I do the notching, which in some cases the overall shape of the point that I want to imitate is not pentagonal looking. But in order to send in flakes, especially on tough material, you really do need to take down those edges, and it ends up being a pentagonal type of preform. But it's fine if you're doing an art piece or something that is pentagonal looking in the archaeological record. But otherwise, you've got to figure out some other way to thin it down in the early stages so that your notching isn't a real big hassle. All right, so I'm going to trim it up and try to do some thinning flakes, and I'm going to toughen the edge up. Several things to do before I actually start notching. Yeah, a lot of times you don't want to be doing this work on the edge while it has barbs or notches, because you can accidentally run a flake into the notching area, or the end snap. You can hit up here and it vibrates and pops off the base stem. Yeah, I've had that happen with weird physics. You're working up here and you don't even notice, and all of a sudden you look and the stem is gone. What happened to the stem? Just snapped right across the neck. I snapped the neck of my projectile point without even trying. Yeah. Yeah, this up here naps well, but down here, starting to get dicey. I'm not going to send any flakes directly this way because that may snap everything. So, but this way, diagonally, is not as dangerous. Okay? All right, next segment.